Based off the timing for the release date of DUAD and the uncertainty of some of the cards I'll be using today due to our next list, I figured it was better to get this out earlier for anyone wanting to play this version of the deck. We only have 2 combos today, so it should be a relatively fast video, as we start with our first new card, Dark Flare Swordsman, based off of an original fusion monster using the iconic Dark Magician and Flame Swordsman, Dark Flare Knight. So we're going to start here to show that we can add it by using the Fighting Flame Sword, as we'll use it in the draw phase in order to play around Droll, and we'll then add ourselves the new card, the Dark Flame Swordsman. It's a level 6 fire attribute. The attribute is different than the original, but the level is the same, and it's a warrior, also the same as the original, and you take no damage from battles involving this card. You can only use each of the following effects of Dark Flare Swordsman once per turn. You can send one Flame Swordsman or one monster that mentions it from the extra deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot declare attacks for the rest of this turn except with warrior monsters. Quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon one monster that mentions Flame Swordsman from your deck except a level 6 monster. I would also like to mention that the 2200 attack and 800 defense are the same as the Dark Flare Knight as well, but we're going to continue here using this copy of Crazier Mathmech Circular, except not really, because it just doesn't have the amount of targets to send from the extra deck and special summon from the main deck to really make it that great. Even though the one target that we do summon is really good, it just doesn't feel like we have enough targets to really make the full thing go yet, though we're getting really close. So we're going to special summon out the Dark Flare Swordsman now, sending our Fighting Flame Dragon. Then we'll use the effect of the Swordsman, tributing itself off, getting ourselves the copy of the Fighting Flame Swordsman. From here we can use the effect of the Fighting Flame Swordsman, which will get us our Flame Swords Realm, and from here we can activate the Swords Realm. We'll be able to bring out the copy of the original Flame Swordsman by sending the Fighting Flame Swordsman to the graveyard, trigger the Fighting Flame Swordsman to send the Salamandra, and now we can use the Salamandra in order to grab ourselves the Salamandra Fusion. Now we'll activate the Salamandra Fusion in order to go into our ultimate Flame Swordsman, and from here we would be either ending our turn if this was just one card, or we would be attacking our opponent, just because we can do a lot of damage with this one card combo, and if your opponent has nothing on field, this really would be game, because you have the ability to attack twice, and you'll notice that we're at 4200 attack. On top of that, you also have the ability to double the attack of Ultimate Flame Swordsman when it battles, or if it battles, but just to really increase that damage and potentially get game just like that. Now in this next combo, I will show what you can do to go first and mitigate some of the weaknesses that Flame Swordsman has. Now for this final combo, it's not going to be a long video, as I said, because there's just not enough to show, and I feel like I would be wasting your guys' time if I tried to do anything else, especially when you see the deck list. But we're going to start here by special summoning out the Fenrir, and the Fenrir is a really solid card in this deck because it can either serve as support for your ultimate Flame Swordsman by giving you another interruption on the field, but more importantly, it also gives you another edition of a copy of Fenrir, which can be used to pitch for cards like Droplet or the Dia Bellstar. So we're going to do just that, as we'll use the effect of the Dia Bellstar in order to get the Deception, and now we can get the Deception's effect, tributing off the Dia Bellstar in order to get ourselves the Azamina. From here, we'll then be able to use the effect of Azamina, which will bring out the Murcielago by sending the Deception, and from here we can use the effect of the Murcielago in order to get ourselves the Wanted. Go into our Closed Moon for our 4th summon, and then we'll use the effect of the Azamina, putting back the Murcielago in order to get ourselves access into Sylvia for our 5th summon. So we'll activate the Azamina, chain the copy of Wanted so that we can get another copy of Dia Bellstar from our deck, and from here we'll be able to bring out the Sylvia. So now we can start going into our Fiendsmith plays, and I'm really just gonna talk over this as there's not much to say. I'm pretty sure that you guys might be a lot more tired than I am of seeing this, seeing as I just kind of came back from a mini hiatus and you guys have been seeing this. So we'll continue here by bringing out Engraver, as we're then going to go into our Caesar, and finally we can now go into our Flame Swordsman plays, as we're going to bring out the Dark Flare Swordsman, go into our Flame Swordsman. We'll then be able to get ourselves the copy of Swords Realm, activate the Swords Realm, then we'll be able to go into the original Flame Swordsman, do the same exact thing that we did before, except the difference is this time around we have the ability to have the Omni Negation off of the Sylvia, we have the 2 negations off of the Caesar, but then we also have the ability to draw off of the Wanted in the graveyard, as well as ending with that pop that we get from the ultimate Flame Swordsman for our opponent's turn, giving us about 4 interruptions or so just off of these 3 cards. That said, you could have something else in your hand to help supplement this board, or or even draw something off of Wanted. But with that, I'll take you on to the deck profile. So the one cool thing about this deck is the ability to not only play a ton of going second cards, but just the ability to fit in different kinds of engines that could be a thing moving forward, just because you have so many consistency cards with things like the Dark Flare Swordsman, Fighting Flame Swordsman, then you have the Fighting Flame Sword, and this also opens the room for more Flame Swordsman cards in order to make the pure build a bit better. When the set comes out, I might make a video just on the pure build in order to do it for the people who want to see a deck like that, but because we don't know what the ban list is, I just wanted to show this version of the deck, which the real reason why I'm bringing it to you is because I felt like if you don't get into the Dark Flare Swordsman and your play is the Fighting Flame Swordsman, and you normal summon this and it gets impermed without a way to play beyond that, Dia Bellstar can send it to the graveyard, and then you can get the effect in order to get an addition and still potentially get your engine going, and depending on what the rest of your hand looks like, you might even still be able to play. Of course, then you have things like the Wanted draw, you have the ability to make your end board stronger with the Azamina cards, but then you also have the Fiendsmith stuff, which gives you more interruptions. You'll also see that I'm not on any of the traps. I didn't want to play the Infernoble stuff either for the same reason, and it was just because it felt like it was adding a lot of space that could be used on engines that are better suited for today's game. While I felt with the Azamina and Dia Bellstar along with the Fiendsmith stuff made the traps a little bit less powerful in my opinion, though they could still be played. Depending on future support for Flame Swordsman, maybe we get a level 1 Salamandra or something like that. I also think that the 1-for-1 stuff becomes pretty solid, especially since Renaud can add back a Fire Warrior or one of your equip spells that is banished or in your graveyard. So while not necessary for these builds, I just want to glance over this or whatever could come in the future. But anyways, that's all for today's video. If you made it this far, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to leave any comments down below, tell me things that you guys would like to try or see me like to try with the deck, then feel free to do so. It's Bones, signing out.